Hey you guys, thank you for tuning in, and this is going to be a training for the entrepreneurs out there. I'm a Beachbody coach, so obviously I'm kind of speaking to my team of Beachbody coaches, but also for anybody working from home, anybody working on a side hustle while they're still working, a 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be. So this is for you boss babes. Today's topic is becoming a monotasker. Now, as the name implies, it's focusing on one task at a time rather than being a multitasker, which is something that I always prided myself in being, a multitasker. I was able to focus on a bunch of different things. I was able to, get a bunch of things done. But then you realize that multitasking can often be detrimental to the quality of whatever it is that you're doing. You're focusing so much on getting a lot of different things done that you're not focusing on doing those things really well. You're focusing on just getting them done, hammering them out, and doing the best that you can, doing everything at once. So this training is about taking a step back from multitasking, and not saying that multitasking is bad all the time, but that when it really matters, we should really know how to be a monotasker. We live in an age of multitasking, right? Like we check emails while our hair is processing at the hair salon. We, listen to podcasts while we drive. We, tune into a conference call while we're, doing a workout or whatever the case may be. We're constantly trying to find ways to do more than, one thing at a time because we're busy people. We have created a very busy culture, very busy lifestyle. So busy is kind of a badge of honor people are wearing and trying to get a bunch of things done at once. So it's definitely been proven in different books that I've been reading about multitasking versus monotasking that it hinders your actual productivity because oftentimes our brains are so scattered and all over the place that productivity goes down. It increases our stress levels because we constantly have this looming to-do list in our brain that's revolving all these things we have to get done. So it increases our stress levels, negatively impacts our memory because we're constantly trying to scramble, be like, oh yeah, I had to do this and this and this and this today. We're trying to always figure out how to fit them in at different times of the day. Like, how can I do this during the day? How can I fit this in during my hair appointment? How can I fit this in while I'm at work? What can I do to utilize my time? So it definitely makes us a little bit more memory bogged down, a little bit foggy, but also it affects our overall happiness too, because when you're stressed out and your productivity levels are low, the quality of your work is low, you're inevitably going to be pissed off at yourself. You're going to be unhappy with that. We are way more productive when we focus on one task at a time. And especially, it's different when you're driving and listening to a podcast. That's a really beneficial way to multitask because you can focus on driving. You're going to listen to something on the radio anyway, so you might as well listen to a podcast. But let's say if it was a really important meeting and you're driving and you have kids in the car or something, and then that's not as effective. So you just have to be able to decipher the difference between the two. When we multitask, we definitely sacrifice quality for quantity, like I said before. And as a result, we end up being fatigued, burnt out, and we're disappointed in ourselves because we felt like we were super busy doing a ton of work all at once, but then we're not happy with the end product, or we're not happy with the way our business is going because sure, we're doing a lot, but we're not doing those things really well. So that's something I want you to keep in mind. Information overload that we experience when we multitask can make it really difficult for us to prioritize and make decisions in our business and in our personal life. So it just makes your brain foggy. You have all these things going on. You're trying to do 100 things at once. And lots of times we're left cycling through what we need to do, what we have to do, and we don't ever take action on a lot of it because we're trying to figure out how to fit it all in. So I want to go over a few steps that you can do to become a monotasker and to increase the likelihood of focusing on one task at a time. And I wrote a few things down, so bear with me as I read from the sheet. The first step to changing this behavior is focus on one task at a time. And I know that sounds like, okay, cool, easy, but my brain just doesn't stop. Start off small. start off with like 20-minute increments of working time. So let's say maybe you work full time from home, but maybe you also, have another job, so you don't have a ton of time to work. Let's just focus on 20-minute pockets of time where you're going to work your business, and then take a 5-minute break, whether it be for, chug some water, have some veggies, have a snack, go for a little walk, pet your dog, whatever you got to do. But 20 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest. And then as the days go on, add 10 minutes. So add 30 minutes of work, 5-minute rest, 40 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest, so that you can work your way up to like an hour of really focused time. But start small, because sometimes when we bite off, it's like going from a 20-minute workout to doing like a 90-minute workout. Like there's a big difference, and you have to be ready. You have to be mentally prepared for that 90-minute workout compared to starting off at a 20-minute workout. So same thing with our focus time in our business. Focus small to begin with, and then work your way up. One thing that you can do, monitor your thoughts. So rein in and redirect. You're curious about what Kylie Jenner, Khloe Kardashian, what they're up to. Rein in those thoughts. Maybe you have, a party coming up and you don't know what you're going to wear, what dress you're going to wear, and you find yourself drifting. Try and take control over your brain. Try and take control over those thoughts. Redirect them, rein them in. And then if you find that you're struggling with, different things going on through your head, just keep a pad of paper beside you, so that as you're doing your work and these thoughts come in, write them down. So they're written down, they exist, they're there, and they're out of your mind. You can get to it later. You don't have to feel like you have to hang on to them so they don't disappear. Write down that thought, like, oh shoot, I have to pick up the dry cleaning. Write that down. Cool. On your list. Have a running list at all times with you. I recommend carrying around a journal or something that you can jot notes down into. Journal to some degree, tracking your life, whether it be your nutrition, your fitness, your business. Tracking it helps clear your mind, but also turns those things into reality. So write down what you need to write down. The next thing that I have down here is, perfect, capitalize on your natural rhythms. And this is so unique, because for me, I'm way more productive first thing in the morning when I wake up and I'm fresh and it's early, it's dark, it's cold, I have my cup of coffee, I can focus and I can work. So capitalize on your natural rhythms, not anyone else's, because you're going to read books that'll say you need to, focus on a miracle morning. You need to wake up really early, get your work done. But some people, your natural rhythm isn't to be really creative and focused in the morning. Maybe for you that's mid-afternoon or later in the evening. But just be real with yourself and be honest with yourself and write down, figure out a time to schedule in. Okay, 3 p.m. is like my best time, because I'm not going to be out and about running errands. The kids are already dropped off at school, or I have to pick them up in an hour. So I know that 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. or 1 p.m., whatever it is a great time. So schedule that in like an important meeting in your journal or in your phone. You're going to have an alarm that goes off at 3 o'clock, focused work time for that hour. That is your focused time to work. So capitalize on your natural rhythms, and then figure out when your peak focus time is, because it's different for everybody. So just plan your important stuff to get done during that time. Don't plan to fold laundry and do dishes, because that doesn't take your focused energy. That doesn't take the best version of you to wash dishes. If you have really big business goals, those behaviors to get you there need to be done during that time. The next thing is creating an optimal environment to get shit done. You need an environment that's conducive to productivity. So maybe that means it needs to be relatively quiet. It needs to be a pretty quiet environment. Maybe it means that it needs to be kind of comfortable, but not ultra comfortable that you're going to be lethargic and like too cozy that you'll fall asleep. Like I can work out on my couch. It's comfy. But if I was to sit in my bed and work, I'd probably nap, because we have a very comfy bed. So I like comfortable, but not too comfortable. It's important that you eliminate or reduce the amount of alerts on your phone. Maybe you get like those little red squares that say, oh, you have like 30 Facebook notifications, or someone on Snapchat sent you something, or, whatever it is. Limit almost, if not all, of your alerts on your phone. You know enough to check them. You're not going to let them go, but just eliminate them. Because if you hear bing, bing, or even see that like red square, that like ominous square that says you've got like 30 notifications, it's like, oh, I should check that. But that's not really high on your priority list to get you to that big goal. You need to focus on it. So reduce or eliminate all alerts on your phone. The next thing is schedule in time for social media, schedule in time for checking emails, for the things that you enjoy doing but have like very little to do with your business. Don't get me wrong, I like checking in on what my favorite celebrities are doing. Like it's my guilty pleasure. I like following Khloe Kardashian. I'm sorry, but I do. I also like reading other silly things or watching cat videos. You know what I mean? Like we're human. Our brain goes there. And I'd love it if you could not do it at all. I would love if I could not do that. But if you feel like you need that like little guilty pleasure, schedule in 10, 15 minutes on your phone. An alarm's gonna go off and it's gonna be like, hey, unplug for a second, or plug in technically, and just like check your social media. Get it over and done with. See how your post did throughout the day, because you don't need to constantly be like, oh, how many likes did I get on my Facebook post or my Instagram? I have to go check. It'll be there. It'll be there later. And you can respond to any comments or messages later. I promise you, they're not going anywhere. So creating that environment that's conducive to productivity is huge. And then the other thing was maybe you need a change of scenery. Maybe you're not feeling inspired in the environment that you're in. Maybe it means you want to take your work outside if you live in an environment that you can work outdoors. Maybe it means you're going to go to a library or a quiet coffee shop or somewhere, but you're going to go somewhere different, change it up. Because if you feel like you're just not inspired, or just it's not an environment where you're going to get work done, or maybe your kids are just going nuts and you're like, okay, I need to just like escape and go somewhere a little bit different because I have something really important I have to get done. Hubby, you're going to watch the kids for a bit. So just find an environment that's conducive to that. So little to no distractions, comfy but not too comfy, and then you're going to be more likely to monotask. So that's what I have to tell you guys about monotasking. It's a simple principle, but it's so opposite from what we've been told forever. You know, I've always been trying to like be next level multitasking. Like, how far can I push this? And sometimes it's unsafe, right? Because people now are so glued to their phones or wanting to know, you know, who commented or liked their social media, that they're driving and texting, and it's dangerous too. So it can be harmless in the way of, you know, you're watching TV and on your phone and trying to work. That's fairly harmless, not very productive, and you're probably not going to hit your business goals. But if you're starting to do that while you're driving and you're being dangerous, or you know you're doing something that requires your utmost attention, that's when it becomes a little bit more dangerous. So this is it. That's all I had to share with you guys. A quick little training, and I hope that was helpful. And I'm going to start doing this a little bit more often, sharing with you guys things that I learned. Certainly these aren't theories or, you know, stats or things that I've come up with myself. As I do personal development and business development, I keep gathering all of this and then I'll share it with you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.